today my lecture, I will discuss about the contents and research proposal. So, what will be the main issues I will discuss today? How to select the topic of research proposal. That is the very important. And I will also discuss what is research proposal, of research proposal, language of research proposal, and layout and number of pages in research proposal, and some international experience of research proposal I will discuss in my today lectures. So first of all, how to select the topic of research proposal. How to select the topic of research proposal. A research proposal is prepared for the PhD level also, for the master level also, and if you are applying for the project to the UGC major project, minor project, or ICSSR or DST, you have to write the research proposal. So it is very important how to select the topic of research proposal. What should be the topic of research proposal? So we see that there is three scope to select the topic of research proposal. First one is that we can work on the new theory or new idea. While selecting the research proposal, you can choose the new theory or new idea. You are interested to make the new theory, you are interested to give the new idea concerning to the research to the any branch of knowledge, first one. And second one is you are interested to revise the old concept, old law, old theory. That is also the important. As we know that after 20 years, the behavior of society, economy, organization, all those things changes. The generation also changes, and therefore there is need to revise the old theory, and the new theory is required to give after 20 years. So therefore it is said that the old theory should be revised. So while making the research proposal, while choosing the research proposal, you can take the you can develop the new theory, you can develop the new idea, you can choose the new topic, or you can choose the old topic, old concept, and you are interested to do the revision in that concept. That is important. In spite of this, you can apply the old theory for the solution of the particular problem. The problem may be the social problem, the economic problem, the political problem, the historical problem, the problem concerning to the science and development. It means that you are interested to apply the old theory for the solution of the problem of society. This is the thing. One thing we have to remember that doing research is not the individual wealth, not the individual welfare maximization. Doing research is concerning to the social welfare maximization. The objective of research is social welfare maximization and not the individual development, or not to maximize the individual interest. Therefore, choosing the topic of research, you have to more focus on that topic which will be useful for the development of society, either for the primary sector of economy, for the secondary sector of the economy, for the tertiary like service sector of the economy, or for the industrial and social development concerning to the any development of society. The topic should be very, very important. And one important thing is that while choosing the topic of research, we should also focus on the interdisciplinary topic of research. That is very important. So one thing is also important that the topic of research should be well defined and at micro level, because in the DRC, before the DRC, doctorate research committee, if you are go, or if you go to the fund for the research, and if you present your proposal to the ICSSR or the Department of Science or Technology, or UGC for the fund, you are taking the measure of minor projects, you have to present. So the name of the topic should be very interesting. That should be concerning to the objective of the research, by the name of the topic, the objective of the research should be very, very clear. That is very important. And the topic should be at the micro level. So I'm saying that the topic should be well defined and at the micro level, the objective of the study should be clear by the topic. And it is one thing also important that when you go for presentation of your research proposal, it is asked what is the they ask they see your topic. So your topic is praised or your topic is criticized in the interview also when you go for the presentation. So this is also the important. So topic should be very clear. So now what is the research proposal? Research proposal is a brief outline of future research work. What research work you are going to do, it is the brief idea, brief outline, it is the proposal of doing the research work that may be concerning to the any subject, that may be concerning to the any subject, but that is the guideline of your research. According to the guideline of research, you write your thesis, you write your dissertation, or you write your project works. That is the important. So research work is guided by research proposal, and research work, research proposal is approved by the concerning body. Suppose I'm saying that the research proposal has to be approved by the concerned authority. For the example, if you write the research proposal for your doctorate degree, that is approved by the university doctorate committee. If you write your proposal for the master degree, that should be approved by the concerned authority. And if you write your proposal for the ICSSR project, that will be approved by the concerned body, or that will be approved by the UGC or Department of Science and Technology. You can also present your proposal to the World Bank, IMF, or other international and national bodies. But one thing is that you have to prove that your research proposal, your research is very beneficial for the society. Otherwise, the topic will not be approved. Therefore, we can say that research proposal has to be approved, and by choosing the topic of research proposal, you have to give attention that your topic should be very clear, topic should be at micro level, topic should be for the development of society, for the development of economy, for the development of global society and national society also. So this is the research proposal. Research proposal is a brief outline of the future to write your research work. That is the importance. So now, what are the general components of research proposal? This is the important. So in the research proposal, first of all, we write the topic of the research. And second one, the main components of the research proposal are introduction, literature review, objective of the research, objective of the study, and research questions and hypothesis, tentative chapters, and research methodology. This is the case in for the India. But when you discuss about the international level, at the international level in the research proposal, there are only 3 chapters. When we discuss about the European countries, American countries, Australian countries, even in the African countries, they are doing the copy of the developed countries, and their research proposal has 3 topics, 3 chapters. But in the case of India, the research proposal main components are introduction, literature review, objective of research, research question and hypothesis, tentative chapters, and research methodology. But in the case of developed countries, research proposal has 3 chapters. First one is the introduction, second one is the literature review, and third one is the research methodology. And when they write the thesis,
they increase the 2 chapters and they change the language of the research methodology also and add more 2 chapters that will be the results and discussion, and last one will be the conclusion and suggestion. So I will give the experience of the research proposal in the case of developed and countries and other countries and India also. So chapter 1. So in the research proposal, we write the introduction. First of all, after the topic, we write the introduction. So introduction includes the significance of the topic, background of the study. Generally, in the case of India, the person write the introduction in 1 or 2 paragraph, but for the quality research proposal, in introduction, we should include the different subtopics. In the introduction parts, it is very important to discuss about the background of the study, about the significance of the study, about the general idea of a study. That is very important. And we have also to give the answer, why have you chosen this topic? While you writing the introduction part of the research proposal, you have to tell that why your topic is significant, what is the background of the study, what is the general idea about the topic, why you have chosen this topic, because such type of questions they will ask when you will present your research proposal. So the main subtopic of the introduction part is that 1.1 you should write after introduction is point 1. Point 1 introduction. In this introduction, you have to write 1.1 overview of study, 1 paragraph. Then 1.2 background of the study. You have to write in the overall. You will give the brief idea about the topic. In the background, you have to give the background of the study. Then 1.3, you have to give a statement of the problem. A statement of the problem means what what are the motivation behind the study of this topic, why have you got motivated behind the study of this topic, uh, and what is the statement, what is the question of the research that motivated you to give the answer of the study. So a statement of the problem is very important in this introduction part, and after that you have to discuss about 1.4 significance of the study. Why this study is significant? What is the contribution of your proposed study for the society and for the organization and for the nation? That is very important. And after that, 1.5 you will discuss about the limitations of the study. Limitations of the study you can discuss also in the research methodology parts. Okay, in the another parts you can also discuss, but it is very important to discuss your limitation of the study in the introduction part. So in the limitation of a study, you will tell that we did not we will not be able to do this work due to this and this resource problem. Okay, and the problem may be concerning to the time, the problem may be concerning to the cost, the problem may be concerning to the data, that this work will not be done by this researcher, the concerned researcher. So all those things he will discuss in this introduction part. After the introduction part, you will go for the second components of research proposal is the review of literature. So review of literature means previous works related to this topic. What is the review of literature? In the review of literature, you will discuss what the previous researchers have done the research about this topic or concerning this topic. So literature review gives ideas about literature, methods, data, tools, variables, data analysis tools, model, and result. I am saying that for doing the literature review, you have to read the 20 to 30 research papers. 20 to 30 or 10 to 15 read. For the literature review part, you should read the 10 to 12 research paper. What will benefit? What benefit you will get? You will get the benefit that how the previous researchers using their methods, what are the sources of their data, what are their tools, what variables they have chosen, what are their methods of analysis tools, what models they have selected, what are their results, how they have interpreted the results, what are their conclusion, all those things idea you will get from the literature review. Therefore, for writing the good literature review, you should read the paper of the other persons who have wrote their paper concerning to this objective, so that you can develop the good literature. So writing the good literature, you have to know that you have to write at least 20 to 30 literature. You have to write at least 20 to 30 literature. That is important. So you should also focus on the recent literature. The recent literature means the literature within the 10 years, new recent 10 years, recent 15 years. Suppose that you are writing the literature in 2021, you should focus the literature after 2010. You can also include the literature of before, but your objective will be include the recent literature. That is the importance, because in the recent literature already past literature have been included. So while in the literature, so by this literature review you can find the gap, what works, literature gap, research gap means what works have not been done by the previous researchers, and that work you are going to do this is the research gap. And in this literature review, your research question should also be very clear. But research question you can include in the other parts also. Generally, in the review of literature, you should focus on the conceptual literature. First one is conceptual literature, concept about the topic. Second one is 2.1 conceptual literature, 2.2 theoretical literature, 2.3 applied literature, and 2.4 research gap. You should discuss four things in the literature review. You can discuss point by point. 2.1 conceptual literature, 2.2 theoretical literature, 2.3 applied literature, 2.4 literature gap. Concept, what is the importance of literature review? What is the importance of literature review? As a researcher, when you are doing the research, you have to write the literature review. So you should read the journals, books, newspaper, and you should consult to the library. You should read the thesis of the good researchers. So from the different sources, from the quality journals, quality books, you should study about the concerned topic. What you will get the benefit when you will study about the concerned topic from the different sources, your idea will be very clear. Your idea will be very clear. Then you will get the idea. You will get the idea about the methodology of the study, about the analysis of data, about the time period of study, about the variable of study, about the sampling, about the sample size, about the conclusion. So all those things, when you will get the idea, you will be able to do the research, and therefore it is very important to do the literature review more and more. But in the literature review, you should include, but in the literature review, you should include at least 20 to 30 literature, but literature should be recent. You should focus on the recent literature. The literature may be concerning to the conceptual literature. You can give concept about the topic. You can give the theoretical aspect of the study. theoretical knowledge of the topic, and you can also write the applied research that previous researchers have worked on this topic in the context of world, in the context of country, in the context of state, in the context of region. So while writing the applied literature, you should write systematic. First paragraph at world level literature. Second paragraph, India level literature in the case of India. Third at the state level. Then at the region level, systematic you have to write the literature review. You have to develop the scientific literature review. That is the very, very important. And when you will do the literature review, means you will explore. Literature review is what? Literature review means exploring the knowledge about this topic or concerning to this topic. When you will explore the more knowledge about this topic, you will get the idea how to do the research. So that is the importance. So in this course, you will find the research gap. Research gap means what works the prior researchers have not done concerning to this topic. Means your topic is new. This work has not been done by the prior researcher. Sometimes you are thinking that this work has not been done by prior researchers, but it has been done also. But in your mind, while doing the research, you can justify that your variables are new, your area of study is new, your methodology is new, your data is new, or you can say that the previous researchers have done the study on this topic, and before 10 years or before 20 years, so you can justify that the situation has changed, the society has changed. Therefore, it is required to revise this theory or revise this topic. So I am selecting this topic, so that is the important. So literature review, and the literature review, the research gap, your research gap should be very, very important, very, very important. And there should be make the strong research gap. If you are interested to take the project of ICSSR, UGC, DST, IMF, World Bank, you are interested to work on the major projects. For the major projects, there is a condition that you have already done the minor projects concerning to this. You have to experience of doing the research. So if you are doing this, you have to show that there is a huge gap in this research. The previous researchers have not worked on this topic, and this topic is very, very, very important for the society. And so this research will complete this gap. This research will fill this gap. So that is the important. So this is concerning to the research gap. In the research proposal presentation, you have to prove this, that your topic is significant, your topic will fill the research gap. Such type of research has not been done by the prior researchers, and this research will be very beneficial for the society, for the nation, and for the human being. This is the important. And after the literature review, you have to write about the objective of the study. What is the objective of the study? The objective of the study should be well defined. That should be concerning to the topic of the study, and one thing that should be based on the research gap and research question. What is the research question? Research questions mean this study is going to give the answer of this research question. What is the research question? Research question means this research is going to give the answer of these questions, and this is the gap. You have to formulate the objective of the research concerning to the research gap. Sometimes we see that topic of the research is different, objectives are different, research question are different, research hypothesis is different. What is this? That should not be done. This is not justifiable. So result, so objective, we should not include more and more objective. Generally, I have seen that in the context of African countries, they include 10 objective, 12 objective like this. In the case of India, we have also seen that the researcher have included 8 objective, 9 objective. What is this? This is not the objective. But when we discuss about the developed countries, they include only 2 or 3 objectives. So don't include more and more objective. If you will include more and more objective, you cannot justify with the research question. Okay, so it is also important that one so your research questions I am so this is the objective of the research that should be concerning to the topic of the research. Otherwise you can deviate from the topic of the research, and you should concentrate only on two or three research objective. That is the enough. Don't take more research objective. 2 or 3 objective is okay, because you can make 2 or 3 hypotheses. Your research question will be 2 or 3, and that will be okay. One participants have written the question that what is the difference between why we should include objective of research and research questions, are they different? One participant has asking that research question and research objective are different or not. In the case of Ethiopia, I am giving the example. One scholars are presenting their PhD research proposal. Okay, and in this research proposal, he wrote about the research questions, and after that, he wrote the objective of the study, and after that, he wrote the hypothesis of the study. The examiner asked that what is difference between objective of the study and research questions. Both are same. He told that I'm thinking that both are same. So why you are including both? Is it the rule of university, or you are doing this? The reality was that it was the format of university that you have to write the research proposal in this format. So it is also important that while you are writing the research proposal of PhD concerning to any degree, or master research proposal concerning to any university, or concerning, or you are writing the research proposal for the ICSSR, UGC, IMF, Department of Science and Technology of State, Ministry of HRD, all those things. So there is given the guideline. So you have to write according to the guideline. Guideline is important, and if you can go out of the guideline only some extent, but you have to give the justification. That is also important. I will give the answer. Some question I'm seeing. Okay. So after the research proposal, you have to write the research questions. You can write the research question before the objective of the study, or then objective of the study, and fourth one is the hypothesis of the study. In the case of India, I am discussing this. So hypothesis of the study. What is the hypothesis? Hypothesis is the tentative answer of research questions based on the study. It is the tentative answer, not the answer of research questions. It is the tentative answer of research questions. Research question, this is the answer of tentative answer of research questions. So while giving the research hypothesis, hypothesis is of two types. There are two types of hypothesis. First one is the research hypothesis, and second one is the statistical hypothesis. If your study is concerning to the conceptual study, you cannot prove the hypothesis. Hypothesis testing is not possible for the conceptual hypothesis. Conceptual hypothesis is given by the philosophical study. You are doing the conceptual study, then you can write the research hypothesis. That is no need to prove the hypothesis. You explain the only. You explain and you explore. For this, we apply the exploratory research design. But when you make the statistical hypothesis, that is also called the empirical hypothesis, that is based on data that will be proved in your thesis or dissertation or in your project works. So if you give the statistical hypothesis, there will be the two parts, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So null hypothesis is what? Null hypothesis is the hypothesis which is to be tested. This is the null hypothesis. And alternate hypothesis is what? Alternate hypothesis means it is the complementary of null hypothesis. If null hypothesis will not be okay, then what will be? That is the complementary hypothesis. Suppose that you are doing the study concerning to the impact of class teaching on the students knowledge, impact of class teaching on the students knowledge. By teaching in the class, the students knowledge are improving or not, you are interested to discuss this. So a student knowledge is the function of class teaching. A student knowledge can be measured by the marks of the knowledge. So marks of the knowledge is the function of class teaching and other variables also, other independent variables also. So what is the impact of independent variable on the dependent variable? So in the null hypothesis is unbiased hypothesis. So you can say that there is no significant impact of these independent variable on the knowledge of students. You can make the null hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis will be that there is significant impact of these independent variable on the dependent variable. Like this, you make this. Okay, so null hypothesis is denoted by H0 or HO, while alternate hypothesis is denoted by H1 or HA. So one thing also important, that while giving the hypothesis, you have to give the level of significance level. So what is significance level? Significance level means it is the maximum possibility of the rejection of null hypothesis. Generally in the social science research, we take the significance level 5%. 5% means the researcher have 5% fear that his or her null hypothesis will be rejected. Null hypothesis will be rejected. He or she has 5% fear. Means his or her confidence level is 95%. Okay, so level of significance and level of confidence, the summation of both is 100%, or one we can write this. So level of significance is important. You can use the 5% level of significance, 1% level of significance, or 10% level of significance. But one thing is also important, that when you decrease the level of significance, you have to increase the sample size. That is also important while doing in the study. So research hypothesis should be very clear, because if you are doing the empirical study, your hypothesis has to be validated by the data. So after the hypothesis of the study, the next one part is the tentative chapters. How in this you will discuss in your research thesis how many chapters will be. I have already told that research proposal is a proposal and not the thesis. Okay, you will tell that. So I'm writing the tentative chapters. Tentative chapters is concerning to the chapters of thesis. You can also increase or decrease the chapter in future after the research proposal. After the approval of research proposal, you can increase or decrease the chapters according to the guidance of your supervisor, but you cannot change the title of the research. For changing the title of the research, you have to write the letter to the department, and it will go to the university research committee, and it will go through the department, and there will be the meeting, and that will be passed in this. Otherwise, you cannot change the topic of research, but you can change the chapters of your research proposal, because that is the tentative chapters. And in this, it is very important that your title, your chapter should be 5 to 7. That is optimum. Sometimes we have seen 10 chapters, 12 chapters. That is not good. For the PhD level, 5 to 7 chapters are okay. For the ICSSR, UGC, IMF, World Bank, all those things level, you should write to 5 to 7 chapters. That is okay. Okay. So your chapter should be as chapter first introduction, chapter second literature review, chapter third research methodology, chapter fourth result and discussion, chapter five conclusion and suggestion. But sometimes you can increase your chapters, increase one or two chapters concerning to your analysis parts. If your analysis part is big, you can increase some chapters concerning to your literature or analysis. But it is the optimum. But optimum chapters are 5 chapters. But you can also increase 2 chapters, depends on the your topic of the study. Or you can decrease 1 chapter or 2 chapter in the case of UG and PG UG and PG level thesis or MT level thesis. You can decrease or you can write this also okay. So, but this is the research proposal, and the next one part is the research methodology. This is the last part of your research proposal. So, research methodology concerning to how will you do the study, how will you do the study, what will be your research design. Your research design will be exploratory, your research design will be descriptive, your research design will be causal. You have to discuss this in this part. So you can discuss. So in this part, suppose research methodology part, you can write. In the case of India, the people generally change the paragraph and they write this paragraph by paragraph. But in the case of other countries, they like the write the 6.1 research area, 6.2 sampling and sample size, 6.3 data collection and sources, 6.4 uh, data analysis, 6.5 model formulation, 6.51 model justification, and 6.7 limitation of the study. But in the foreign, this is not the chapter 6, this is not the part 6, this is the third part. In the foreign, there is, in the developed countries, there is only 3 chapters in the research proposal. First one is the introduction, second one is the literature review, and third one is the research methodology. So in that case, they will write 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 like this, or 3.2.1, 3.2.2. They also write this. Depends on the objective of the study. So in this case, exploratory research concerning to the conceptual study or philosophical study, it is based on why, it studies why. While the descriptive research is the empirical study that is based on the statistical hypothesis, and in this we discuss what is. In this we discuss what is. So in the descriptive statistics, descriptive research design, we discuss the measures of central tendency, methods of dispersion, skewness and kurtosis, and the diagrammatic and graphical presentation of data visualization. All those things we discuss in this part, and we also test the hypothesis testing. In the causal research, we study the cause and impact. The dependent variable is the result and independent variable is the cause. So cause and effect relationship we discuss in this part. So we discuss about the research area. Sometimes research area discussion we also include in the literature review. Okay. So depends on the format of the concerned body also, but generally we should discuss in the research methodology, research area, description of research area. What is the research area means? Population. Population means what? The area which is under the investigation. Okay, so you have to discuss the research area. And sampling means sampling concerning to the taken the sample. What is the sample? Sample means a small portion of population which is taken from the population to study this on the base of the estimation of the sample statistics like sample mean, sample standard deviation, sample variance, sample proportion, sample correlation, sample regression. We estimate about the population. Okay, so it is the important because in the research we calculate the sample, and on the basis of the calculation of the sample we estimate about the population. Population is what? Population or universe are same. That is the area under the investigation is called population. So sample size is also very important. You have to discuss the sample size. For the determination of sample size, you have to determine the level of significance. What level of significance you are using? When level of significance decrease, the sample size will increase. There are different formulas to calculate the sample size. You can take from the Google also. You can write in the Google formula of selection of sample size. Already 2, 3, 4 formula which come. But generally in all the formula, there is the use of the level of significance. So by the same formula, if you increase or decrease the level of significance, automatically the sample size will be adjusted, means it will increase or decrease. So sampling is the process of study of the population on the basis of the sample drawn from it. So you have to discuss about this. You have to discuss about the data collection. Your research will be based on the your research will collect, you will also collect one things I have not written here. You will also discuss the research methods. Your study will be qualitative study, qualitative method research, or quantitative method research, or mixed method research. Generally we should apply the mixed method research, because in this research it is the we can apply the quantitative and qualitative both, and quantitative and qualitative research are complementary to each other. The use of the statistical tools and data analysis, what you will select the variables and what statistical tools you will use, and how we will analyze the data, all those things, how we will test the hypothesis, which statistical tools you will apply in your research, you will discuss this. In spite of this, you will discuss the model formulation. Model formulation. So in the statistical tools, you can write about the measures of central tendency, dispersion, skewness and kurtosis, regression, simple regression, multiple regression, linear regression, non-linear regression, multicollinearity, heteroscedasticity, time series, all those things you will discuss in this part, and that is the important. You can discuss about the hypothesis testing, what test, but one thing is important, you have to give the justification, you have to give the time period of your study in your also research design. That is the very important. Model formulation, selection of the model, model justification, and limitation of the model, and limitation of the data and methods, all those things you have to study in the research methodology. That is the very important parts. So now one thing is also very important. You can use different criteria, different things, but you have to give the justification. While choosing the time period, you have to give the justification. Why have you are choosing this time period? You are using the final data, cross-section data, time series data, but you have to give the justification. justification why your research will be based on time series data, why your research will be based on descriptive analytics, why on causal analysis, why are you choosing this model, why you are using these statistical tools. All those things you have to discuss in your research methodology. And one important things that language of the research is important things. I will discuss this while writing the research methodology. You write that the proposed study will be based on primary as well as secondary data. Sometimes the student write the proposed the study would based on past tense. They write the past tense. You have not done the research. This is the proposal, and you are writing the language of thesis. Why? This is the drawbacks. So while writing the research proposal, you have either use the present tense or you can use the future tense. The data will be collected by primary as well as secondary methods like this questionnaire, interview, schedule, or from the books, journals like this. This study will cover the period of this to this year. Will cover. Yeah, this study covers, you can write this. But while writing the thesis or writing the project, you will use the past tense because you have already done the work. But research proposal, you have to use the future tense because you are going to do this. So sentence structure, you have also to give your attention while writing the research methodology. And after that, you can write the references. Why there is need of references? That is the source of material. That is the authenticity of review. And you have to write in the APA format or as per the format of the university. And minimum you have to write the literature review from 20 journals, books and newspaper. 20 to 30 is okay. 30 is okay. So you can use this. Suppose there are only two writers or one writer, so you are writing the literature review. So you can write Misra Manoj Kumar bracket year comma observed in 2017. That you can write what was my conclusion. So if the writers are more than two, you can write Misra et al. Misra et al. 2017 means writer are three or more, 3, 4, 5. So such type of you can we use the past tense while writing literature review. Literature review is already in past tense because the work observed already work has been completed. Okay, but writing the research methodology, you have to focus on the future tense, future tense. Sometimes you can use future tense and present tense is also okay. But when you will make the thesis, dissertation or project, you have to write in past tense. You have to change the language of research. You have to change the language of. One question is that what is difference? Okay, so you can write this. I am seeing you the Ethiopian Civil Service University guideline for research proposal. I am seeing you in the case of foreign. First one is the cover page. After cover page, you can see this chapter 1. This is the foreign. Another country. Chapter 1, they discuss 1 introduction, 1.1 background of the study, 1.2 at 1.2 statement of problem, 1.3 conceptual framework, 1.4 objective of the study, 1.5 research question and hypothesis, then 1.6 scope and limitation of the study, 1.6.1 scope of the study, 1.6.2 limitation of the study, 1.7 significance of the study, 1.8 general description of the study area, 1.9 proposal organization. So how will in the proposal organization they write that this research proposal has 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is introductory, chapter 2 concerning to the literature review, and chapter third based on the research methodology. They write this, but previously I have discussed. So you have to follow this because I have written this. I'm saying about this. I'm saying about this. I'm saying about this. Okay. So I'm saying about this part like this. I think I have made the combination of both. This is the combination of Indian and Western, both type of research proposal. So it will be better. So now after that, chapter one, they write the chapter two like this. Chapter two, they write like this, and then chapter three, they write like this. So after that, for the PhD or master level in the developed countries, they make the work plan also. In the India, in PhD research proposal or the master level research proposal, they will not make the work plan. But when you write the research proposal for the ICSSR, UGC, IMF, you have to give the work plan. For the UGC, you have to make the work plan. That you can read this preparedness of the proposal. Proposal, what will be the duration of your study? How we will do the study? You have to give the, from this month, I will start this work and complete in this month. From this month, I will start this work and complete in this month. From this month, this study will start this work and it will be completed in this month. All those things, they have to be defined in the work plan. That is very important. When you write the UGC proposal, research proposal, project research proposal for the University Grant Commission, AICTE, DST, ICSSR, Indian Council for Social Science Research, Indian Historical Council, Indian Council of Philosophical Research, International Monetary Fund, IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So when Asian Development Bank, so when UNO, UNDP, so when you apply the research proposal in different, where you are required the fund, you want fund for the research proposal, that because after proposal you will write the dissertation, you will write the project, you will write the thesis, and if you require the fund, you have to make the work plan and budget. That is very important. You have to make this. Okay, in the case of foreign countries, in the maximum countries, that is the required because they give the fund for doing the research. Okay, so that is required. In the India also, when you write your research proposal in IIT or IIM, you write the work plan also, you write the budget also, because they give you a GRF. In the GRF, they will give you the budget. So you have to write the work plan. That is the important. And work plan is that you have to work according to this time. That is the time schedule of your research. Okay, so that is the very important that you can complete your research within the given time period. So this is the important. And now the required materials, then the budget, you will make the budget. What is the budget? Budget is the required materials, and budget, that is the estimated. Okay, in the minor project, in the case of India, in the social science, commerce and management communities, the minor project, the cost is 5 lakh. 5 lakh, while in the case of science and technology, the minor project cost is 10 lakh. Okay, depends on the body also, but major projects, the fund are more, so you have to make the budget. What is the cost of your research? So all the cost has been written: printing, notebook, pen, hard disk, internet, travel cost, all the cost has been written in this. So you have to write, and what will be the quantity and what will be your budget, because that will also be approved if you are writing the research project proposal for the UGC or for the good universities also. So they will give this. So this is also the important. So one thing is also important, I am discussing here. So I am coming again here. So yes, so what should be the research proposal language? The language of research proposal I have discussed. You should write in present tense or the future tense sometimes as per the need of the hours, one thing. And second one is that the language should be, your sentence should be not so big and your sentence should be not be so small. You should use the technical words. Your sentences should be standard. Either you can write in Hindi or you can write in English or you can write in the language of the concerned country or as per the need or guideline of the organization where you are presenting your research proposal. But you should use the medium size sentences, not very big sentences and not very small sentences. That is the not goods. In spite of this, what will be the layout of your research proposal? Layout should be as per the rules of university. That should looks good. That is in the statist. That is called the presentation of data. How to present the data that looks good. This is the importance. And as per the need, as per the guideline of the organization also, and how many number of pages. Generally, we should write the master level, UG level research proposal in 5 to 6 pages, master level research proposal 10 to 12 page, and PhD level research proposal 15 to 20 page. 15 to 20 page PhD level research proposal, okay. And for the ICSSR, UGC or the IMF, World Bank, you should write the research proposal about 20 to 25 pages, or as per the guidelines, the format, the components of the research proposal is already given. So if you are doing your PhD, you should go to the ICSSR website. You can see there senior same topic, the topic you have taken in the PhD, on the same topic you can take the fund from the ICSSR. It will be approved by ICSSR. If you are the faculty member, you should go to the ICSSR website. You can go to the UGC website. You can go to the DST website. You can see call for research proposal, call for minor project, call for major project. You can study this. You should be up to date with all the website, AICT website also, and you should write the research proposal, and you should send this. That should be approved by your college or university also. Then you can submit there, and after submission, you have to give the presentation. After submission, you have to give the presentation. Your presentation should be very effective. You have to make eye to eye contact in the presentation, and your presentation you should make the 15 to 20 slides, not more slides, and you have to explain all those things. You have to explain that your research is that your proposal is very significant for the development of society, for the development of nation, and for the development of human being. Then they will approve your research proposal, and then you can work on this topic.
In case of PhD thesis, how many literature is to be reviewed? Ideally.
Okay, in the case of PhD, while in the case of India PhD, you are writing for the research proposal, your total research proposal, the number of papers, the number of pages should be 15 to 20. That is optimum. 15 to 20 pages for PhD level in the case of India. Research proposal is optimum. That is very good. So we can divide in different parts. Generally, you should write the introduction. Introduction write in 2 pages. 2 pages introduction. That is okay. Okay. Yes, literature review you should write in 5 pages. 2 pages introduction. Okay. 2 pages introduction. Literature review 5 pages. 5 to 7. Objective and hypothesis will be 1 page. Then 8 page. Okay. And 1 page you will write about the tentative chapter also, so that will be 8 page. And 5 page you can write the research. 8 and 5 page you can write the research methodology. So 8, 5, 13 page. Okay. And after 13 pages, at 2 page, you can give the bibliography, 2 pages. Then 15 pages. So if you are interested to increase the page, you can write the literature review in 6 to 7 pages. So introduction 2 page, literature review 7 page. In the 1 page, objective of the study, hypothesis and research questions. So this is the 10 page, total 10 page. And after that, 1 page tentative chapter 11 page, or 5 page you can write the 4 page. 4 page you can write the research methodology. Then 16 page, and you can write 2 or 3 pages. 2 or 3 pages you can write the references. That will be the 17 or 18 pages. That is the okay. But while writing the research, while writing the literature review, you should focus on the recent literature. Try to include the literature within recent 10 or 15 years. Try to include this. If you have no access in the recent literature, you can include the old literature also, but you should try your best to include the recent literature in the literature review. One thing also important in the literature review, you should write the systematic, conceptual literature, theoretical literature, applied literature. In the one question I'm saying how we should write the introduction and review of literature. Okay, I've already told you. In the introduction, I have told you. In the introduction, you write 1.1 overview of the study, 1.2 background of the study, 1.3 a statement of the problem, 1.4 significance of the study, 1.5 limitation of the study. Already 2 page you can write. 2 pages okay. 2 page okay. Thesis in the social science, 150 pages okay for thesis. 150 page thesis yours should be. So introduction, chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 literature review, chapter 3 research methodology, chapter 4 result and discussion, chapter 5 conclusion and suggestion, and after that you can write the bibliography and then appendices. So in thesis for PhD, in the case of India, in the case of social science, the thesis is some bigger. In the case of technology and science, the thesis is some small. So in the case of social science, you can write the thesis size up to 150 to 200 page total. That is the optimum. So write the introduction, chapter 1 introduction, 30 page, 25 to 30 page introduction, or about 30 page, 2 page more or 2 page less. Introduction 30 page, literature review 50 to 60 page. Introduction 30 page, you can count this. You can do the total of this. Literature review, introduction, chapter 1 introduction means 30 page. Chapter 2 literature review 50 to 60 page. Chapter 3 research methodology, that will be 6 to 8 page. Chapter 4 results and discussion, that will be 55 to 60 page. And last chapter conclusion and suggestion, that will be 20 page, about 20 page. And after that you can give the bibliography, that will be about, that should be about 10 to 15 page, 10 to 12 page. Bibliography 10 to 12 page. References means 10 to 12 page. And after that you will give the appendices. Appendices is the complementary of your main research. Okay, so you can give the big data, big diagram there. So you can, in this part you can include the questionnaire. Okay, questionnaire and other things. So it should be maximum 20 page, maximum 20 page or 15 page. And you, in the case of India, it is also important that in your appendices part, you have to, in some universities there is rule that you have to include your 2 research presentation in the national and international conferences concerning to your PhD topic. and two paper and two paper publication. You can also add this in the last page of your thesis also. So maximum it will be, so optimum it will be 150 to 200 page. Yes. So one thing also important, I will saying that while writing the research proposal or writing the thesis, you should use the, generally in the case of India, we use the New Time Roman. The font size should be 12. Don't increase the font size. If you increase the font size, the page will increase. Prior researcher were increasing the font size to increase the page also. And the gap between the two sentences should be 1.5, that is optimum. If you make 2, the page will increase. Okay, so it is optimum to write in the, your font size should be 12 is okay. The gap between the two sentences should be 1.5, that is okay. That is also important. Thank you.